Hello and welcome to 2024. I have a fairly small update here this week. I've been stuck with some real world obligations, so I've had a little bit less time than usual, but I've still made some appreciable progress, mostly on the junk that I showed in a pretty early state in the last video. Texturing is well underway. But the most significant chunk of progress has gone into adapting my current sailing system to play a little bit nicer with battened sails. Fortunately, the base system was made with different sail types in mind, so the root of it works pretty well without much in the way of changes other than just setting up some variables. But getting it to look nice has been a little bit more of a challenge. It's important to me to be able to show that batten sails are not rigid, that each spar or batten has a fair bit of flex and a range of motion all to itself. So the aim was to show that in a performant way. A fair bit more testing still needs to go into that, and it's far from perfect as is. But I feel that it's well on its way to being a functional system. It may be obvious, but I'm still missing out on a lot of effects and awake, and there's still a good chunk of texturing work to do. But the bulk of the model is done for the exterior of the ship. There's still quite a bit of work to do on the interior, and the cargo hold is barely roughed out as it is. But the exterior's in a pretty good state right now. Still a few things to do, but enough that you can see how it works. This is the helm here. Still a few tweaks, but it works a little bit differently than the helm of the Latin rigged sails. So that's been a bit of a challenge to get that working appropriately. I expect I'm going to be working on this ship for, at the very least, another few weeks. But the next big thing on the agenda, aside from working on the model and texture assets, is going to be environmental audio. I'm not very happy with how it works currently. It doesn't really have appropriate delineation between being, say, on land or at sea. So there's a lot of work to do there. But in the meantime, I'm going to be continuing to get frustrated with texture painting and trying to get these sails working a little bit better. The biggest issue with them right now is they can move in a bit of a jerky way, especially during reefing operations, and you can see a fair bit of clipping going on. So that is definitely on the to-do list, but it's not too far off. I quite like the look of battened sails, so I expect there'll be a few ships of this type eventually being added to the game. I'm kind of aiming for at least 3 ships of each type, so 3 Latin rigged ships, 3 batten ships, and possibly some other styles in the future. But a rough aim is for 6 ships at any point of launch. But that's getting a bit ahead of myself here. So In any event, I appreciate any viewers, and hopefully we'll have another video up in a couple of weeks.